right. Thank you all. So for those newer to cohorts, we typically start with some updates from ELD and then have a bit of time left over to hear how things are going from you. If you have any questions or things you want to share with your cohort colleagues or questions you want to ask, advice or consultation you want to get. So hoping we have time to do that today. Although I will say we've got an exciting update to share with you, which may take more time than normal updates. We have a prototype of a coordinated enrollment SharePoint site, which the goal would be you all have access to this. It can host our resources, so the ELD forms and guidance and things that we send out via email right now could have a stable landing page place that you can go back to refer to them. It also have a Preschool Promise section that's got our forms, the manual, Q&A documents that can be on a link versus getting sent out by Crystal every time we have an update for you there. And would host a little running calendar of our meetings, events coming up, as well as I think the thing we're most excited about is hopefully we can generate some content from you all and be able to share with everyone doing coordinated enrollment, some examples, some shared language or supports or resources that have been created that could be shared across the state. So what I wanted to do is give you a quick preview of where we are. We are prototyping this, meaning that we expect that your feedback might change how this looks, what we have available on it. And first step for this would be also, we're hoping this will host a contact list of all the coordinated enrollment folks across the state. And so what I'm going to do as follow-up to this cohort meeting is send you all sort of who we have right now in the contact list and make sure we have everyone who needs access to this SharePoint site, and then be able to grant you all access once we have that kind of okay on who needs to be on our contact list. So this will be a little walkthrough, show through right now, and then we're hoping by the end of the week you'll have access to be able to directly take a look, poke around in it, and then there's a form to ask for some of your feedback. So I will share my screen here. Awesome. See some excitement from you all as well. And let's make sure. Can you all see my screen? All right. Okay, cool. I see a nod. Awesome. So this is the general homepage as you'll see it. Got our little coordinated enrollment definition blurb. There is a sort of overview document, which we hope will be useful for giving new folks kind of a onboarding, a little like what to expect and what resources and tools are available to you all. But really wanting to drive the work of onboarding and what resources are available through the SharePoint. So you'll see, I know there's been an ask about ELD contacts, just has some reporting, our meetings, a little overview of the SharePoint site, and then, what to expect in terms of updates. So where to go to get updates and what you might expect to see there. There's sort of up here, there's kind of 4 main areas where we'll dive in after looking at this front page. But this has sort of in-depth our resources area, Preschool Promise sub-page as its own area, news, and then meetings and events. So you'll see this will likely update with kind of most important or new topics and things that come up. So at this point, we've got a link again to the Preschool Promise enrollment page, assuming many of you might need immediately to get to that. There's again, the survey for feedback on the site to help see if it's beaten what you thought it might or what we could do better there. A link to the reporting page, subpage, and then a link to implementation, coordinated enrollment implementation plan and guidebook as kind of our placeholders for now until we have more new things to share with you all. And then little running what's up next. So you can see our cohorts are in there, and then progress reports are also in there. And I believe has an old one of ours today for GoToMeeting, so we can see about fixing that. But should be kind of a running what's up next in terms of events. And then finally down here, we've got some news. So I know Crystal's got a draft news piece there. And then here's a kind of what you can see in terms of how we might share some info for you all. So this again is just directing you to the feedback form to give us some info about how you might use this and what you find useful or what you'd like to see. And feel free if there's any questions coming up. I'm going to dive through these 4 kind of main bucket areas, but if anything springs to mind for you right now, I'd love to hear it too. So if I head into resources, this is sort of a subpage. It's got its own thing. So you'll see again, here's our sort of reporting space. Here's where the contact information will be available. And if I click in there, we will be able to see both the contact list as it's updated and a form to submit any updates or changes throughout the year, kind of throughout our time together as well there. If I click into here, you can see our documents. So you can see we have reporting resources that'll be like our quarterly demographic form will be available there. Preschool Promise enrollment will have a whole lot of stuff, but the Q&A, the enrollment manual, application, and any guidance and memos that have been issued. We'll have a place to store our cohort agendas. So you'll see just a placeholder starting for now, but we'll be growing that. And then any announcements, any other kind of resources about key activities in coordinated enrollment. Have some ability to just have a landing place, a holding place that you all can access at any time. There's also a link here to our YouTube playlist where our cohort recordings go, where any of our trainings and things like that, meetings we have that are recorded show up there too. And then our early learning hub resources is the space I'm hoping to grow out. So as you'll see, shared resources coming soon. I started to pull in some of your websites or family-facing coordinated enrollment websites. And then we've got the resource form where, oh good, we've got a smart sheet set up to be able to enter URLs or upload documents and give us some information about how we can populate that shared resources list together. So hoping we can add that out, we can get all 16 plus of our websites showcased. I just went on my little brain what I had available very quickly, but I know you all have done a lot of work getting websites together with partners and things like that. Don't want to lose that. So there's our resources page. Awesome, seeing lots of enthusiasm still. I'm so appreciative of that. Um, I will show the Preschool Promise spot. Crystal, let me know if you want to share any part of this. I know most of Crystal's updates and things will flow through here. You've got the FAR waiver request form, a link here to quickly access it, as well as the applications, the enrollment manual, any guidance memos that come out, and then some quick links. So to get to the grantee site, so that you can, you'll have access to the grantee site as well to know what Preschool Promise grantees or providers are seeing for their updates or communication. The grant status portal is here. And then the Preschool Promise page on our website, which, as you all know, currently has information about the interest survey for Preschool Promise expansion. And then we'll see news pop up here. There's a separate Preschool Promise news section to try to focus it. Oh, great question, Jessica. So I will be following this meeting, I'll be sending an update to say, do we have everybody we need to give access to for your region? And then once we've got that updated, we'll be able to share, you'll be able to have access to that. You should receive a notice from like Microsoft SharePoint that you've got access to this as well. So we expect by the end of this week. Crystal, anything you'd add on the Preschool Promise part before I drive ahead?
No, I think you covered it all. Thanks, Anne.
Awesome, sure thing. Thanks for joining us, Sarah. All right, then you can see a spot to get right to news. So this will be any and all news, latest updates, and also an archive of our past news events as well for you all. And then meetings and events, we'll have, this is kind of your larger running list of what's up next. Believe you have the ability to add, once you're a member, to add to your calendar directly from here if something's looking funky or we add something additional. And then also there's just a short link to, if you want to get to what's up with cohorts or what happened with cohorts, just a short link there to drive back to that part of the folder. That is my very quick overview. Like I said, we're real excited for you all to have access and dive in to explore on your own and tell us what could be added, what would you like to see different, or how easy is it for you to use. Very, very much in the prototyping, but really excited to have something to share with you to try to get us a little more organized and a bit able to share kind of across the state, you know, exciting things that are coming up or new resources and things like that. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing and would love to know your thoughts.
I just think this is going to be super helpful. I mean, we try to organize on our end, but there's always like, which is the latest version? You know? So it's going to be really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our it's our goal too. Put a date on everything, but also be nice to have some permanent links, spots to go to for the latest.
I'm like, when will it be released? I want to start using it.
Yes, well, and you all may have a bit of a advantage going first in the cohort cycle there, but you know, I think from just very quickly glancing at all of you and the contact list we've got, I think I'll just need a quick like, yep, this is everybody, and we should be able to start that release. So yeah, hopefully quickly there.
Hi, and it's nice to actually see you, and hello everyone. Finally, I'm here. I just want to make sure, because it looks to me like this is certainly for coordinated enrollment, but that it's really an early learning everybody's going to have a way, like on all fronts that we're doing our work, we're going to have access to this to support our work. Am I getting that right?
So the current thought was that this would be for hub staff doing coordinated enrollment work and have the Preschool Promise resources needed too. I'd love to hear if you think there are others who should have access, so we can run that up the flagpole, see how we can go. But yeah, I think as a start, for those of you doing the convening work of coordinated enrollment, doing the Preschool Promise work of coordinated enrollment or of enrollment, that was our first step. So I'd love to hear. Yeah.
Oh, well, I was just going into a place where I was thinking I want SharePoint for all the other stuff that we do, like hub work, like KPI,
Yeah.
like cross-sector EC expansion plans, like the idea of being able to have a spot where all of that lives so that we can like essentially a clearinghouse. So it's always been my dream that we would have that. So I think I just projected it. So thank you for the clarification.
Maybe you'll manifest it. I can definitely share that with Denise and Carmen. It's a really useful feedback. Awesome. Well, like I said, many opportunities to give feedback, to poke around, hopefully by end of this week. And we'll look forward to where your mind goes with this and what we can do to try to make it a real shared resource moving forward. And I think with that, we've got a great half hour to hear how things are going and if there's any requests for consultation. So for our newer folks, I typically kind of start with a round robin style, like what's going great, what's exciting you on the coordinated enrollment journey, and then feeling so positively, we get into like, where would you like some help, or where do you have some questions, or have you hit any kind of roadblocks or something? So I will ask maybe some of our longer standing cohort members, is there anything, wins, excitements you'd like to share to kick us off?
I'll start. Our website, I'm excited that I get to give you an actual website. I know. It is, I think, well, hopefully it's as done and great as it can be because we ran out of money. Building websites is expensive. And then the content marketing piece has just blown my mind. This is not my expertise. And so I feel sorry for the guides that were trying to work with me because I was like, I don't get it. I need an interpreter. So anyway, we have that. We don't have everything because I put a CRM in the back of the website so I can track parents. So it's a little bit of a database that will help. And I can use email and text through it so I can contact parents that way. And I'm hoping the surveys, I can do a mass send out. So I'm really excited about that connection to our website. That's definitely a win for us because Google Sheets can take you only so far. And then the other thing that I'm working on is so we did the recommendations for the Preschool Promise slots. And now things have changed in our region. And so I was actually really excited about the survey that the ELD put out for providers on capacity, because now I'm having all those providers send me their surveys so I can update our slot allocation recommendations so that we still have that one document for our region. Because definitely things have shifted. We're having, I don't know if you guys are seeing some Head Starts having a hard time, but we are, because of staffing and COVID and staffing, we have some Head Starts that are closing classrooms, which is frightening. So that's my update.
Thank you. Wow.
Tammy, it's because of staff. Oh, I'm sorry, Ann. It's because of
No.
staff. They don't have staff.
They don't have, yeah, they're losing staff because and I think this is what I'm hearing, is because Head Starts are mandating vaccinations. And there's some staff in Eastern Oregon that don't agree with that. And so and on top of that, we have a workforce capacity issue, right? We don't have enough staff as it is, so people are leaving and there's nobody to fill those spaces. So we've lost a classroom in Wallowa. We might lose another one in Enterprise. I don't know. It's shaky right now. So we're trying to take these Preschool Promise slots and maybe help support those parents that are losing their Head Start slots. So I don't know what'll happen. We'll see.
Oh yeah, I see Jen seeing the same kind of thing.
Well, and talking about, sorry, I have one more thing to add, and we've talked about this before, but on top of struggling, I just saw what Jen wrote on low enrollment. So they're holding their cards really close because I've been trying to get, because of the ECE sector plan, right? I'm trying to get an idea of who's full, who's not, where are the kids at, and they won't share their numbers. There's some Head Starts that are just flat out will not share their numbers with us. It's crazy. So I'm working on it. Coordinated enrollment.
That's right. Yeah. So that under enrollment as a kind of barrier to partnering and working together on trying to solve that stuff continues to be a challenge. That's, yeah.
Yeah, we were asked by our Head Start, a really positive thing that has happened lately is that the early learning director for one of our sites in Sheridan and our Head Start director have agreed to be co-chairs of our Stewardship Committee. That's, working towards the no wrong door approach. So that's an exciting partnership, and I think it's going to be great that they're working together so closely with me on this in that capacity. But we were asked this week by our Head Start director to develop some materials that really show all the benefits of all the different programs, because it's on our website. There's a little paragraph, this use Preschool Promise, Enrollment, and then Head Start and OCDC and Tribal Head Start and Relief Nursery, all the other programs, and you get a little blurb. But she would like some materials that really showcase how each program is different, because she feels like Preschool Promise has taken some families that should be theirs, and so like looking at it from her perspective, it's like, yeah, I understand that's hard when you're losing funding because kids have gone over to this other program. So
Yeah. And some of the end goal assumption of coordinated enrollment is families know of all that's available and then use that knowledge to
fully informed. Exactly.
fully informed. Yeah. So moving in that direction of full information, then ask the questions too, like what's still working, not working for programs and for families.
Yeah,
those
exactly.
programs. Yeah. Makes a ton of sense. Anyone else have wins, excitements they'd like to share? / we're very informally, if consultation, commiseration as well, all is welcome.
We have a couple of wins on the South Coast. So we recently partnered with our local food share, and we were able to give Preschool Promise families food boxes if they wanted to for the winter break, because we know that is such a huge struggle for families. We were able to call everybody and set that up, which is exciting. And then going forward, we're going to try to do that at least monthly with our Preschool Promise families, as well as just share that resource about food share and other things in the community, because we know that Preschool Promise has some, family engagement and parent involvement pieces, but our centers, are still learning how to do that. They're used to being childcare, so they're still really learning how to engage with parents. And then on that topic of informing parents about their options, we are contracting with a local photographer to take professional photos of all of our Preschool Promise and Baby Promise sites. to put on our websites to help show, this was actually an idea I got from a meeting, one of the meetings that we had at some point, to help show parents that it's an educational setting. And that there's equivalencies with all of our sites, and as well as hopefully just to help them choose before they get to the part where they're enrolling. So we are really excited about that.
That does sound awesome. Like just kind of getting more of that. What's it look like? And I'm assuming support, families to learn more about family childcare specifically too, to kind of break down maybe some of those, thinking about what it looks like versus what the providers actually, are doing or setting up their spaces to be and support children in.
Exactly. Our Baby Promise sites are struggling as well because the majority of their providers, I think all except for 2, are in-home providers. And families are struggling to see in-home providers as an educational environment. They're like, that's childcare, that's babysitting. And so we're struggling to fill our in-home provider slots with Preschool Promise. And so hopefully parents that it's educational and it's, the setting works really well for some kids, especially ones that have never been, in a care of anybody else before. So that's our goal. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome. It's really cool. Anyone else like to share win, excitement, questions? Breathing time. I know the winter is often a little I'll say calmer, though usually means because folks are coming on. Oh yeah.
I would say I can't be too excited yet, but we do have offers out for a parent engagement specialist and a agency engagement specialist. Both offers are out. I'm waiting for signatures. So we have the potential to be really excited shortly.
Yes.
That would make such a difference in promoting all the ECE programs in the community. If we can be fully staffed.
Yes.
Makes a difference somehow. I don't know. It's a
Funny.
little thing. It's a little thing.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. It's so crucial to that whole thing.
I can share another win I just thought of when Jen was talking. I was like, oh, we don't have those positions. I want those. But it made me think of our CCR. So just recently, I know a lot of you guys have already combined and worked together with your CCRs, but we just in the last year have done that. And it is amazing what a team we are. And so we just combined and are working with our regional solutions gal over here on workforce capacity. And because there's some money coming out statewide, and that can help with education in early childhood. So it's been really helpful. We kind of put together a list of what we could do, and we were looking at new positions and how we can support some local people getting, from all the way from middle school, getting them interested, high school, taking the CDA program into their associates, and having somebody navigate, be a navigator and help them through that process. So we might be, fingers crossed, have some new positions over here too.
Yeah, what a cool
Our CCR, yeah.
That's awesome.
Hi, I apologize. As soon as I was going to hit the unmute, my child's school called. So, but I do want to share for Four Rivers Early Learning Hub. I can't type as fast anymore, but our preschool classroom that is in one of our elementary schools is at full capacity. I finished enrollment last night with one of the families, so that one's full. We are working, we just submitted our waiver last week for enrolling families that are over the income guidelines and stuff to fill our family partnership classes that are, have families that are interested, but we can't fill them because they are over that guideline. So we submitted our waiver last week. So hopefully once we hear back and if it's approved, we can fill those slots, which is very exciting. I know that our one of our providers that's in Hood River County, she got assistance with building a website, which I feel is a huge gain, especially for those families or providers that aren't so prone to technology. I feel like, for example, like our Hispanic community, they're not very like, what do you mean? I don't have to fill out a paper, like a paper application, so it's like everything new to them, but it's huge gains because now we're, being able to provide information at their fingertips, with a cell phone or a tablet or whatnot. So that for me, for myself, seeing our community be built up, that is, I believe, huge gain anywhere. So so that's some exciting news that I would like to share this time.
Yeah, absolutely exciting to see. And another, I think, potential great partnership with CCRNRs around marketing support around those kind of pieces. Oh, Krista, I see you coming off mute there.
Adriana does such a beautiful job. I have something that's a little bit of a high level win, but I think it's indirectly connected that our community college and our R&R have been working on a feasibility study with Heidi McGowan to figure out how to do a childcare center at the college. And they invited myself and the R&R and actually even Alyssa to come and be a part of a presentation on the 8th. And they released the feasibility report. And we're in the process of getting ready to release our report about innovative strategies, which includes, multiple kinds of funding and all of that. So I think what Adriana did such a beautiful job of is explaining the kind of infrastructure on the ground level. And then I think on this other level, there are these other conversations that are starting to happen too, that I hope will drive more families to be involved in Preschool Promise. And I found out that my neighbor across the street, who just happens to be a childcare provider at home, is going to submit in the Preschool Promise thing. So like, I think that's really kind of fun. So that's another little tiny, and she's my neighbor, of course. So, she has to listen to my dog bark. So.
I love that kind of community stuff too. I used to plan running routes around like who could I see my providers like spaces along the way. So much fun. Awesome. And you raised such a good point, Krista, I think about I'm sorry, my cat has approached the water glasses on the table. So sorry. I think he's decided to move on, but if I have to run, that's why. But that kind of multi-level work of, obviously helping families, helping providers like on the ground, and then zooming up to see like, what are we learning, what trends are coming out, what is, existing outside of those specifics of the region, and how they just kind of keep supporting each other and growing and moving our system. It's really exciting to see that come to fruition, and coordinated enrollment to be a space in that journey as well. Deep breath, it looks like, Krista, you were just doing, but
well, there's just so many moving parts. I mean, it is a part of it, but I think, in some respects, there's the short game and then there's the long game. And so, I think we're working both ends of it, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for Adriana's support and the college and all the people who are a part of this work, because y'all know.
it takes the whole hub, the not the person hub, the whole hub of partners doing all this work together.
Yeah, and I wanted to add one as well. So we had a parent who called in and was talking to us about Preschool Promise, but was identifying that technology like a laptop wasn't accessible. So getting the parent over to a Preschool Promise location to fill it out by hand, or with someone who can walk, with the director who can walk the parent through the process and upload documents to us if need be. I think being able to pivot and address all needs as they're coming up, being able to be open-minded and listen to what the parent is articulating, that are those needs, and being able to fill those in without having such a long period of time of waiting, but you know, identifying the time, place of where the meeting site could be, and then getting people in place quickly is reassuring. I can hear from the parent, and the parent is actually even more shocked that this is available. Like, so it's really great to hear that that we're going above and beyond what the parent is even thinking the process would be, which is just our normal process. So that's pretty great. So I think it's a great win.
Yeah, that's, I mean, the power of partnerships and being able to quickly call upon and, you know, create those open doorways we're trying to get to is so important, I think, in all of this work, and really great to see when it's working in action, right? Those are our ultimate, you know, end users or clients or customers. It's the families, and to hear you exceed their expectations is a great space to be in. Patty or Lacey, anything coming up in Frontier region?
Well, this is Patty, and we are meeting with a school district tomorrow, if the roads are going to allow us to travel. Yeah, we have some excitement around the second round of applications for Preschool Promise, and they just keep waiting for that application to come out. So we're excited about that. And it's been a great asset in our county because we have so many small rural school districts that have been doing preschool in their schools for a really long time with no funding. And, you know, it just lets them step up their game. And it's really exciting for them.
Yeah, how exciting to like have some support, have some, you know, more partners in all this work together too, through that opportunity. That's great to hear. Awesome. Well, trying to be a good timekeeper here. I see about 10 minutes. I wonder if anyone came into this cohort with burning questions or want to ask my peers about this, or yeah, anything that we as the collective group can help consult on. I'd love to hear.
I'd be curious about the waiver. How many people have put have asked for the FAR waiver?
Ooh. Krista, I don't know if that's a easy answer right now, but I see Krista raising her hand.
It wasn't
Yeah.
a simple process either. I mean, Adrian and I, just getting the data together and trying to figure out how to answer those questions. It was, sorry, Crystal, I interrupted you. Was the thing.
No worries. I think I don't have that data at the moment about like how many individuals have requested a FAR waiver, and what that actually looks like for the state. So that would probably include some data pulling, which at the moment we're at short capacity for.
Yeah, sorry, I asked that question poorly. I really wasn't wanting to know exactly how many people in the state had asked for it. I was kind of wanting input, like what Krista just said. It's not an easy process because our Head Start has been asking us for the last year to put in for the FAR waiver. And we keep saying, are we really serving all the kids that qualify first? And so we've kind of been on the fence on even starting the process. So that's kind of where my question was. Sorry, Crystal, is more about what Krista was talking about. Yeah, it's not easy and you have to collect all the data. I looked at it for a second and went, whew.
Yeah, I'll welcome Adriana's feedback on this too, but we sat down, we sat down, and I will say that we also worked with our quality improvement specialist from the R&R. She joined Adriana and myself on a Zoom, and we looked at data sets, but the points of data that we needed to have, we used birth rates for like 5 years, and it turned out to be 2015 to 19 because it's very difficult to get any data past that. And then you kind of have to extrapolate, like we had in our EC expansion like data, the number of kids who were below the 100% poverty level and then the 200% poverty level, and we had to create strategies to understand how that relates with the census data about how many children there are under the age of 5, and then how many of them are living in poverty. And then there's a percentage, and then you apply that percentage to the number of kids who, like, you have to know how many kids are in Head Start and migrant and seasonal Head Start who have OPK slots, and you kind of like build this case to show that actually there's more kids who are between 100% and above the federal poverty level than there are slots to fill. And then I think that is the basis for demonstrating that you should get the waiver. I did not include in the waiver, but I could, Crystal, if you need this data from me. I've sent it to Anna and I'm happy to send it to you as well. But there's an MIT wage calculator that shows what the median wage in your region is and what the actual cost to survive is. And I think that is a really important data point. There wasn't a way to share it, but it's in our ECE sector plan. And it was also in the data that we just shared for the 2022 Preschool Promise RFA release, to be determined when. Anything you would add, Adriana?
Just that I'm very appreciative and thankful that we have you, because if I would have, if they would have depended on me and stuff, it's like, okay, where do I get all this information? So, having someone that knows what they're doing and work to look for all this data and stuff, it can be very overwhelming. And I'll voice to what Tammy says that, people might look at it and be like, no, because it is at a glance, it's like, wow. But you also don't want to do those kiddos that you're not serving a disservice by not filling it out. And, and it is hard to know, are we serving all the kiddos that we should first? But, we work closely with our Head Starts and stuff to know, they're filling their slots and they still have wait lists. And, and a lot of those wait lists are those families that are over that threshold of income. So, we are just grateful that we have this tool where we can submit a waiver so that we can give services to all those kiddos. So
that's so smart, Adriana, because the other thing about what you just said that's super important is family choice. Like, just because there are Head Start options doesn't mean that everybody wants that or that everybody needs that. They may prefer to have their child in a family childcare home. And so, it has so many layers of complexity to it. Tammy, I can share with you we have a major spreadsheet and I'd be happy to share it with you. But if I share it with you, I want 15 minutes in a Zoom to explain it to you, because it's a little bit, Adriana's like, yeah, it's a little.
Thanks, Krista. I would love that. Krista, for anybody that doesn't know this already, is a master at spreadsheets. Seriously, you are. So yes, I would love that. I'll send you an email offline.
Yeah, that sounds good. And as Crystal and I are looking towards, like, what does ramping up again for next program year look like, and where are those things? I think I'm hearing too, it would be helpful to have a time to talk FAR waivers and make sure we've got given the resources and guidance that can help you all submit those, because you raise a really good point. It's an available option. We want to serve, we want particularly the Preschool Promise grantees in rural regions that might not have, all eligible children. We want them to, be able to use that to fill their spaces and make sure we're doing what we can with the resources available. So make a note of that to look into as a training topic or a special topics conversation, something like that as well.
Yeah, what's the time frame for reviewing those? I mean, should we be thinking like it probably won't be until January that we hear back, or what seems realistic?
Ooh, Crystal.
I think we have a 45-day timeline for getting a response back on those. I think, and thank you for the reminder too. It's just one of those things that it's back on my radar, and I'll make sure I bring it forward. Thank you so much.
That's great. Awesome. Well, maybe allow you some transition time here since we've got just 3 minutes left. Like I said, keep an eye on your inboxes for confirming contact info of who needs to get the SharePoint site. Be really excited to see you poke around and give some feedback about it. I think otherwise, as usual, Crystal and I are available for your coordinated enrollment, Preschool Promise enrollment needs. But if we don't see you, have a great end of year holiday time. And certainly we'll see you in the new year. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.